Well, this is going to be a little slight comparison. I was just cleaning one of my father's pistols, the Sig SP2022, and that is a HK P2000. And this mat, you use stuff to keep it down. Anyways, what is the comparison? Well, I guess peak 2000s. Well, they're both saying 2000s. Doesn't matter. The point is, though, they're very similar. Now, this has the LEM configuration, but the standard configuration is double action, single action. They even have the decocker here, where this is double action, single action with the classic Sig here. This is around Sig 229 P series size, though I believe it uses different magazines. Don't quote me. This model gets shit on a lot because compared to like the 229, 226, 228, you know, the premium ones, whether it's the original West Germans, then Germans, well, there was no West German 229, but 228, and then 229 became when they had the solid milled block American New Hampshire made slide, and then they on the, we're not talking about the metal series, but the point is though, these were coming in a lot lower price point than the P series. In a way, Sig basically made a polymer version of their metal guns, but I would say that this plastic gun compared to their P series, the metal guns, the aluminum framed, it is not the same fit and finish and quality, although this is very reliable, durable handgun. Where HK, since they went to the USP series and then on to the USP compacts, then this was the P2000. It was the first advancement as far as making it more carryable, slimline, a little more lower bore axis, and then changeable back straps, reusable front rail, etc. And then, but this basically is the same size as the HK USP compact, which came out after the regular USP. And then this uses the same mags. If it's in 9 or 45, you can interchange them with this USP compact in 9 or 45. I'm sorry, 9 or 40. 9 or 40. The P2000 never came in 45. Point is, though, these are around the same size. This is a bigger gun, though, as far as dimensionally in every way. It's a little longer. It's beefier this way. It's a little longer in the grip, where this is 13 plus 1 and 9mm, 12 plus 1 and 40. And this is a standard 15 capacity in 9 and 40, I'm not sure. Both are available in 40 and 9. And maybe 3.7 Sig, I don't know. That's not the point. The point is, though, I want to show the comparison. The quality is flat out going to HK. This, even though it is basically a polymer 229 in essence, it's different in many aspects. The slide stop, and it's not ambidextrous as this one is. But the polymer, you might just see it, but I'm telling you, this is a stronger polymer. When you make polymer, it's a mix, right? A liquid mix, and they mix it with all different kinds of materials to make it durable. The HK is going to be superior. There's no better polymer handgun as far as durability, long-term durability than HK, period. Whether it's the USP, P2000, or P30, basically it's just similar materials, but they started as things went on, people wanted more features compared to the original 90s USP. But USP, I think, is still the most classic looking. This is like a hybrid between the USP and then going to the later on P30. So this is still where HK wants to make something, they still make it. When they make a newer version, they don't, like, let's say Glock, the Gen 2, Gen 3, then, you know, the new gen replaces the old gen, except for California, so they still keep making the Gen 3, but that's another topic. And on the Sig side, they really went all in with the Striker 320, which is just a revamped P250, but that was a dud. And when they made the 320, the slide didn't have to be that high, but they just compensated the double action only on the 250 and just put a Striker in there, and so that's why it has that look. Point is, though, the polymer on this feels, even though it's bigger, it feels more hollow. It feels cheaper in the look and texture and feel. This is, and we'll show later when I'll take them apart. This is the better firearm, hands down. I just can't stress it enough. But is this still a great gun? Yeah, and new, you can get these under 500. Used, shop around, you can get them cheap, $350, you know, whatever. But this one here, I traded something, got it used for nothing. I mean, disrespected price of only $300. Um, the the real price of this MSRP new is around 900 bucks. It's not a cheap firearm. Nothing HK makes is cheap because nothing they make is cheap. The quality and the parts, you don't buy an HK and swap out this, swap out that. Leave it. Um, that being said, but in this market of used firearms and we are in a depression because there's more. If you were in a depression, they'd be selling guns left and right as far as used. There's more people trading in guns, so that means people are more broke. When people think it's going good, there's less used guns, people are buying more, right? So, anyways, but 49 millimeters taken over. And a lot of people can't handle 40 caliber, so use 40 caliber guns. There's never been a better time to negotiate at gun stores to get stuff a lot cheaper, because this was listed at around almost 500, and it was sitting around so long, and was able to trade something in and get this for 300. I mean, basically legally stole it. So that being said, this is not mine, it's my pop's. But so fit and finish is going to go with the HK. We could show. Let me flip them around. This is the strong side view, ejection side. Here you have a very small extractor. I mean, is what it is. Look at that beefy extractor. I guarantee you that this would last longer. In 9 or 40, no matter one, doesn't matter. The HK is superior in long term. When do you see HK recalls? Oh yeah, we made a design or we got some bad part. No, like you're gonna pay more upfront for an HK new, obviously. Used, that's a whole nother category, because used is basically what moves fast, you know. And but yeah, so if you trade in any gun right now, you're gonna take a bath. You're gonna be crying. But buying used right now at the stores has never been better to buy something used. This is made 2006. This variant with the LEM and 40 cal was something that the Border Patrol a lot of carried. So there we go. Both. This is double action, single action. This is the LEM, and we'll show that later on with the LEM. Both have texture on it. This is a little more texture here on the side. If you went, and this is a newer version compared to this 2006. If you had the new P30, you would have more texture here. But the way this feels much better in the hand. Everything about this feels better. The trigger, everything. I'm not just saying it to shit, but what I'm saying is like, but the SIGs SP2022s here, new, you can get them for a really good price. About half is this, maybe 40% cheaper than this. So maybe both great firearms. See what you want to do, but both great quality, both very durable. Both have been used for military and police around the world in contracts for different militaries. So I mean, take your pick. I mean, but this is the cheaper. This does a lot for less, and it is very durable, reliable. But HKs, they do testing on HKs all the time, and 40, 50,000 rounds. I mean, the barrels are the strongest, period. If you look at the barrel, look online, the barrel process, they're hammer forging on these barrels. How strong these barrels are, it's insane. But if you don't give a shit, whatever. But I mean, this is not a bad option at all. I've shot both of these, and both fantastic. This does have a little more modern on the rail, just like if you had a P30, this is an older design. Once like HK makes a design, the design pretty much stays, and so later on, if they have a newer one with newer options, they'll continue the previous one. It's like the USP has the original rail, this has the next version, and then the P30 would have a rail like that. So if you want the most modern version HK, get a P30, etc. But whatever. This has a paddle release here for the magazine. This has standard. Yeah. These weapons have already been cleared. Let's take them apart. I got these taken apart. Like I said, this is, just shit. That's annoying. Anyways, mags. Like I said, this is a slightly larger design, so this is gonna be 15 rounders. Sig Pro mags. Nothing wrong with these mags. This HK mags. Definitely, I believe, a high quality fit and finish. And this is an old mag from 1994 to 2004, and another mag coming. But and still, the tension on this is fantastic. When they make HK pistols, their magazine designs are generally built to hold slightly less, 1 or 2 less rounds that they could squeeze in there, but to make sure when these things are fully loaded for long term that they don't, how do you say, decompress and wear out. So around the same size as a Glock 19, which would hold 13 rounds of 40 cal, this holds 12. I don't mind 1 less round, but this thing doesn't wear out. Because if you ever put 13 rounds in a Glock 23, in a sense, I'm sorry, that size, that last round is very hard to go in and puts a lot of pressure on that base plate. And even trying to, if you try to insert that magazine, it's very difficult with 13 rounds that are fully loaded, and then if you try to cycle the slide with that fully loaded, really crunchy. I recommend open the slide first and then racking in the first one yourself, from the magazine. Where this is fully loaded, it inserts very easy, and you can cycle no problem. So this is designed more for long-term thinking, like, oh yeah, we could have fit 1 more round in here, but then the spring is not gonna wear out. But here's what it is. Slide stops. This is the HK, the part that matters, where this locks up, right here. You know what I'm saying? As you can see it locking there. This is solid, and the density on this is really impressive, the way that locks in. You see here, it's the part that's gonna lock in through here, more of a link. It goes through a hole in the barrel, and this is hollow. So little parts like that, you go, what's the big deal? Well, you're using the slide stop a lot. And this is long, thin right here, and hollow on the inside. It's gonna work, it's gonna be fine. This is gonna last longer. I just can't stress it enough. All of HK only has 2 people in their repair shop, because they even said, like, our guns rarely come back because they break. So it is what it is. See, here you have the ambi. So when this is locked in, this will be like that. You have that side. This has ambi slide stop. So you can activate from either side. This has the lem trigger. So when this is cocked, basically when you chamber around, it half cocks it here, but then the hammer falls back down. So that the initial take up is like nothing. It doesn't even feel like double action. It's so easy to pull back, and then it stops at the wall. So basically, it's double action up front with like no, how do you say, no tension, and then it stops right at the wall. So basically, but the moment you let it go, it rests back in double action, so you don't have to decock it. And then when you fire it, it's going to cycle it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to cycle the slide, and it's going to go back. And like right here, you fire it around, and it's still going to be like kind of like a single action in a sense. And you can reset it and keep, and just only let go a little bit and keep firing it. And then when you're done, it goes back down. Or double action, single action. Every time you fire, instead of staying single action, fine. And if you're done firing, you're going to decock it here. So this is more classic DASA, which I have no problem with. That first part, you're going to carry it with the hammer down. This is a much heavier pull, and then it's going to go to party mode. So you're going to have to master 2 triggers in a sense, which is for transition, which is no problem. With a lem, it's very similar actually in a sense to like the way a striker fired is, in a sense where there is some take up, but it's not really a trigger pull, just a little bit of creep. And this is very smooth. And then you hit a wall. So basically, when you chamber this gun, it's already half cocked here, inside. There's a hammer spring in there, and like a hammer spring strut. So for example, if this was right now, that's a lot heavier pull. Say if you totally decocked it, but if you chamber around, it's going to be cocked here. So when you chamber around here, see now see how easy it is to pull back the hammer. When you chamber around in this, in the LEM, there's like almost no pressure to pull back and basically be in single action. And then every shot would be in single action. In a sense, it's not truly a single action, but I'm trying to explain what it feels like. So pulling, the first round is much easier than the lem because it's very smooth, and basically that travel is your safety. There's no decocking. Decocking is letting go. When you let go, this goes, okay, hammer will rest in a safe spot. But as soon as you take it up, it's ready there. So in a way, you're really connected to this through the trigger finger. Where here, it's you know, you're turning it off in a sense, but turning it off is in double action, and that pull is that safety, but it's a long, heavy pull. And after that first shot, it stays back in party mode. So the difference is when you're reholstering, if the weapon's still loaded, obviously, you're going to decock it. Now, the thing is, this decocker on the Sig series, a lot of guys like it. They don't like the Beretta decocker on the slide. Okay. This here, though, when you're shooting, is very easy. When your thumb's here, my big thumb, you could be shooting in single action, and if you ride this by accident, you could decock the gun. It's still going to work, but also you have a long pull. So it is what it is with that. So now here it is. You see, the steel has a good amount of steel, but it's like it's not. It's just pinned into this plastic shell. This makes it be bigger than it has to be. The good thing is if this breaks, I'm sure you could just replace the rails. But basically, this is just a steel insert into the polymer, which makes it bigger than it has to be, etc. Whereas on the HK, the steel is, you could see some of the exposed, but it's all steel in there. The stainless steel's into the mold. It gives it more streamline, and this feels much more solid, more clean lines, fit and finish. The steel's into the plastic. For example, that wouldn't fly. You see like that, like just the plastic, like fit and finish, like they did the mold, and you couldn't file that off. Well, I guess it's a cheaper gun. There's nothing wrong with these guns. They are reliable as a combat-proven gun, but the fit and finish on the HK is superior. I just can't stress it enough. Then you get to the weapon, the slides. This is still very beefy, and they're both rated for 40 cal. This is just the 9mm version, which they would just mill out a little more of the weight. A lot of guns started doing that, make it in 40 and mill out some of the weight in the slide, and maybe a decreased slide spring. Whereas weapons in the past were just 9s, and they just throw a 40 cal barrel. So the Sig still is a true 40 caliber pistol, and so a 9mm is just going to last even longer, which is a plus. It's both going to have the a firing pin safety, so to protect, you know. So the first part of the trigger pull is going to raise this, and when you let go, if you drop it, the gun's not going to go off. The guide rod system here also has a nylon polymer bushing, so when this is cycling, the slide's going to be in front of that, and when it comes back into the HK frame, this nylon bushing is going to be buffering the energy on the back of this slide here. So this is going to be in here, and this is going to be in here. So when the slide compresses this, it's going to hit this, and it's going to really take out not only recoil, but it's really more about transferring that energy to make the frame even last even longer. And I can't stress that enough. It's a very, very smart, durable design. It is flat spring, which flat springs more than like a piano wire. If you don't think about flat springs, will last longer. And on newer guns like the Beretta Striker gun APX, they went to the flat spring will last longer like that. And so here, this is a part of the cost cutting on this. Give me a second here. Doing this with one hand is a biatch. This is flat spring, but the guide rod is made of polymer, cost cutting, so you can upgrade that. I'm sure it'll be fine, but this part here, unlike the Beretta polymer guide rod in the 92, this does feel kind of cheap. And the fit and finish of this, if you could, get a steel one, but I just don't like this little part here that's what locks into the back of the barrel there. And this is just really just a slightly raised piece of polymer. Not like if it was steel inserted, they're fine, but this is, and that's what's locking that in. Because if this pops out, that weapon's going to be inoperable. So that bothers me, that little raised nipple, in a sense, is what locks it in. I don't mind it being not fixed spring guide rod. You can replace this part if you want to, but still keep that in mind. The barrel, I think, is very good on this gun. It's built very well, fit and finish. You see locks in there, Sig 9mm, and it seems to be traditional rifling in there. Now, on the HK, not only is this cold hammer forged barrel, this is such a stronger barrel. The rifling, I believe, is it polygonal or hexagonal? Whatever it is, the rifling on this is superior. There's no, you're gonna get higher pressure out of this. You can get more velocity out of the same size barrel. The gas seal, and it's a stronger barrel. The fit and finish on this, there's no comparison. So yeah, that's the HK and Sig barrel. This is made in Germany. Yeah, the slides finally. The fit and finish is not bad on this Sig. This is an all-American made Sig. The original ones, they had one in Switzerland on this model. I had one years ago, traded it at the store, but then became all American. You have the SP2022. And here, I guess, so it can be sold in California, maybe. You have the loaded chamber indicator, which I don't like. It's an extra piece that could break off and or get in the way. Don't need that. Serrations are not bad. I believe it has their Sig Nitron finish, which seems to be holding up pretty good. The HK fit and finish is superior. Feeling it, the fit and finish of the tooling, I just lubricated these, just cleaned them. Now this one, remember, is used, and this one's from 2006. This one my father bought new, pretty much just been in the box, and he shot it maybe a few times, and I went to the range with him a few times, but I mean, it hasn't been, there's not even 1,000 rounds in that gun. But so this one is almost 20 years old, and obviously someone had it and carried it, where there's a minor little scratch there. So for 20 years of someone using this, and when I got this one, it was pretty dirty on the inside. I don't think they ever cleaned it. And yep. On all guns eventually will have some finish wear. On HKs, the extractor and the slide stops, when they start getting a little finish wear, they become almost like an orange tint. You see that there. So these are solid. These are very strong extractors. You very rarely hear someone say, "Oh, my HK extractor, bro." But I know guys that had 229s, brand new Legions, and they had bad ones out the box, and then Sig replaced it. They said, "Oh, we had, so a heat treatment issue on a batch of extractors," and they replaced it right away. But I mean, you're talking about $1,300 gun, and you put a bad extractor in. I guarantee it, I would trust a used HK over a brand new Sig, anything right now. And I'm not knocking Sig, but their quality, it used to be a thing you wouldn't have to even second guess it on the older German Sigs. The newer stuff, and they're coming a lot of cool stuff, but they've been having issues with like extractors and other small parts where they sub out. Or heat treatment issues, and hey, take it what it is. I'm not knocking Sig, great brand, but you get what you pay for, in my opinion, as far as new, and the HKs out the box, my opinion, will last much longer and not have any of those issues. It's a superior product. That's the bottom line. So yeah, and this is a solid steel guide rod, and it's fixed. And it locks in here. Look at that, where this guide rod is locking in, and you're hoping that little plastic nub, whether you don't damage it or just wears out, where it locks in into the little nub of the barrel, right? That's a lot of pressure on there to be riding on that little piece of polymer here. So if I could, I would replace that out. If I was gonna carry this a lot or whatever, I don't like that. Look at this, a fucking solid piece of, probably, I don't know what level of steel, very strong steel. Look at that claw, and this claw locks into, where's the HK barrel? Here, you see that? That's gonna fucking, oh, how does this one lock up? A fucking claw. It's gonna lock in. Let's put it sideways so you can see it. It's gonna lock in the claw. So you tell me, what do you think? This solid chunk of German steel and precision design. Look at that. Just fucking when it locks up. I'm one-handed right now. Look at that. Flawless. Look at that. Flawless. Or would you rather have this American version of a German Sig, where they're not Sigs aren't German no more, and this is, you're hoping this little plastic nipple locks into there. So that way, if this ever gets off course, if this thing ever pops out, ready? That ever wears out, this pops out, your slide is done. And then good luck getting that off. You have to go to a gunsmith. Well, the bottom line is they're gonna be out of the fight. So it is what it is. All guns, when they cycle, will start wearing a little bit here. This gun is way old. This gun's only a few years old, and probably has way less around, because this thing has been out for almost 20 years. And it came with this old magazine, so who knows if it was, back then only military and law enforcement had this. I don't know if it was a border patrol agents, but this magazine, the newest it could be is 2004. So, and look at the fit and finish on the barrel for being that old. The treatment on the hostile environment treatment HK uses is superior than anything Sig has on theirs, whether they're nitron finish, whatever. This, you start shooting this a lot, you're gonna get a whole bunch of smileys, you know, where it lines up. You can see a little, but this thing, I said, has little, if any, rounds through it, less than 1,000, maybe 500. It hasn't been used a lot. It just sits in the box. So anyways, we're done talking about this. I just want to show a comparison and contraction, both great firearms. HK is superior in every way. I just can't stress that enough. You know, look how the sights, how beefy that is. There you go, that. Okay, I don't like this. It feels flimsy. The rear sights, look how beefy that is. Then, okay, nothing wrong with that, but still, everything. The barrel's stronger. Forget about this. The guide rod system, and this is a system with this, the way it reduces recoil and pressure onto the frame. The frames itself, nothing wrong with it, but it's you know, it's basically, this is a plastic shell. It's bigger than it has to be, and with pinned in rails versus completely German engineering stainless steel parts embedded in there. The good thing is, if this breaks, you can replace the rails. The good thing about this is the rails are not going to fucking break. I just can't stress that enough. I just can't stress that enough. Let's look up HK USPs or P2000s or P30s. People randomly, oh yeah, what's 50,000 rounds for these guns, and no parts breakage. 50,000 rounds. So AG's 2006, A is 0, G is 6. So it is what it is. Here's the ejector, right? And this is a big chunk of solid stainless steel, and it goes embedded, and it goes all the way. You see how you see the part there, but you see that big? That stainless steel part goes all the way into the frame. Where here, this is not stainless steel, looks like, and is what it is. It's fine, but everything, and you can see the coating on whatever they put on the rails, not even shot that much, and they're already, you know, wearing off. So I'm not knocking the Sig. I think this is a great gun at a great price. That does a lot. New, obviously, price. But in the used category, if you see these used for about the same price, get the HK. And if the HK in this case is still used, another $200, $100, buy the better gun. But if you can't get a used HK at the same price like this, and your option is like something used like this is fine. It's a great quality gun. They shoot nice. This is going to conceal better too, and it's a little less top heavy too. Once you have the slide on this, it's a little kind of high in the hand, which I'm not. I don't, doesn't bother me. People say, "Oh, the gun there's a high bore axis," but Sigs do have pretty high bore axis, and with this, all this distance here makes your fingers here, right? Whereas on the HK, look where your finger is. So the slide's going to ride much lower in the hand, and versus here. Then you have to throw a slide on it, and the slide on the Sig is even bigger to begin with. So it is what it is. We could cover ejection ports, you know, distance, you know, that the rounds have, the cases, or a live case, very similar. etc. But yeah, we're done here. Sig makes good stuff. HK is just better. Besides not being a fanboy, you know, that's from a structural engineering standpoint, HK is better. It's going to last longer. Everything was really no compromise. You're going to buy that HK and leave it stock. They know better. Trust me. Just leave it. It is what it is. Can't stress it enough. Stay fresh. No guns in prison.